Welcome into Sports Zone, everyone. I'm Sports Director Matt Dowell. Happy Wednesday to you. We've got another special guest on our show tonight. South Carolina baseball head coach Paul Mainieri is with me in studio tonight as the Gamecocks season opener is on Friday. Paul, first of all, it's so nice to meet you. I was on vacation during the summer during your introduction, so it's nice to meet you. And thank you so much for coming on our show tonight.
You know, at the press conference, I was asking everybody where you were. I didn't understand why you weren't there. No, it's awfully nice to meet you, Matt, and I'm happy to be here and very excited about a new season beginning.
Yeah, we're so excited about opening day on Friday at Founders Park. But before we get into the baseball, you know, you've been here a few months now. How is life in Columbia for you?
I can't tell you how happy I am. This has been the most wonderful place. You know, I've had great fortune to work at 4 different institutions, and I thought my career was over 3.5 years ago until Ray Tanner called me and convinced me my career wasn't over. So, you know, I came to Columbia not really knowing much about the city, respecting the University of South Carolina, its baseball program, because I had competed against it. But in the time that I've been here, Matt, it's just been absolutely fantastic. The people have been so warm and friendly. I just love the players on our team, of course, the facility, the passionate fan base, just everything about it just has me so excited. And my family loves it here in Columbia, and excited to win some ball games.
Yeah, excited for the season to get going. Opening day on Friday against Sacred Heart. We'll talk the matchup in a little bit, but opening day is such a special thing. It's such a special feeling in the air. Hopefully it's not, you know, the weather that we're experiencing today, but opening day is so special. What do you feel on that first day of the season?
You know, it's funny, this will be my 40th opening day, my 40th season of being a head coach in college baseball. And I told somebody the other day, I think I'm more nervous about opening day than I am in the national championship game. It's just the unknown. You know, I think we have a really good team put together, but all we're doing is playing against each other every day in scrimmage games. And so when all of a sudden there's somebody in a different color uniform on the other dugout, all of a sudden the stands are full. You know, it's just different than practice. I believe that our team will show a lot of poise and a lot of composure. I hope the coach shows as much as our players will. And but I'm excited about it. Opening day is a special day. The bunting is up. You know, Jeff Davis, our wonderful sport administrator and facilities director, put all the nice bunting up. You know, for opening day, opening weekend. We have a big weekend besides opening day. We have Ray Tanner Field being dedicated on Saturday, and then a final game then on Sunday. So it's time to, you know, put up or shut up.
And we talk about Ray Tanner. It is going to be such a special weekend for him. This is a new era for Gamecock baseball, but what does he mean to the sport of college baseball and, of course, to this Gamecock program?
Well, for me personally, he's a dear friend. We competed against each other ferociously, really. You know, when I went to LSU in 2007, I believe was my first season, all the way through 2012 when he finally retired, or I say when he decided to retire. You know, both our teams were 2 of the best teams in the country. The LSU team had won the championship in '09, and then of course Ray won it in 10 and 11, almost won it in 12. So there was a high level of mutual respect between the 2 of us and the way the programs played. Ray simply is one of the greatest college baseball coaches of all time. He's a Hall of Famer. I was kind of sad when he decided to retire to take the athletic director's position because our careers kind of paralleled each other along the way, and we developed a nice friendship, which is very unusual when you're competitors, you know, to actually like the other person. And but Ray and I's friendship remained, and through the years that he was the athletic director, we remained in touch. And you know, it started out with a phone call asking me about some of the candidates that he was considering, and at the end of the conversation it was, well, how about you? And here I am. So no, only for Ray would I come out of retirement, but I'm really happy that I did, quite frankly.
Yeah, I know he's happy as well. That field dedication on Saturday ahead of Game 2 of this weekend's series. Now, when we talk about the South Carolina baseball team, when you look at the roster, what excites you about this year's team?
Well, we have a very veteran team, and I have to give a lot of credit to Mark Kingston and his staff that, you know, they recruited some good ball players, and so the cupboard was not empty when I got here. And you know, of course, the thing that excited me the most was I was able to retain Monty Lee on our coaching staff. I was able to bring in Terry Rooney and John Hendry and Chris Gordon as our director of player development. So I got our staff put together almost before I started on the job. So that allowed us to hit the ground running this summer, and we were able to get out into the transfer portal and be able to fill some things, some areas of our team I felt that we needed to upgrade. For example, we had very little left-handed pitching on our pitching staff, and we found some left-handed pitchers. We were able to get a couple of infielders that I think will make a big difference for us. And so, you know, the experience, the age, the experience of our team, even though they have a new coach, it still excites me. I think that we have good depth, and so we have some different options. Where I think we're lacking just a little bit, Matt, is we just maybe don't have that really, really high-end starting pitcher or two like some schools may have, you know, the 98-mile-an-hour fireballer. But we have a lot of guys that are going to pitch really competitively. And we're going to make a lot of pitching changes to be able to, you know, get matchups and, you know, get guys in there and get them out and keep them, you know, in situations that they can succeed in, instead of asking one guy to go out there and pitch 7 or 8 innings of dominating baseball. So, you know, the pitching staff is deep. I think our position players are going to play good defense. I think we have some good firepower. Of course, Ethan Petrie is one of the best players in the country. Yeah. But I think that he's not going to be a lone wolf in this thing. You know, we've got some other really good players, and you know, we're being, in my opinion, we're being underestimated out there with the prognostications. It's been an awful long time since I played in the underdog role personally, so I'm actually kind of enjoying it right now. But I don't think, you know, that our underdog role will last forever. You know, we're going to get this program going in the right direction, and I think people will stand up and take notice.
Well, that's a good segue. I think you were reading my notes, because that was actually my next question, was about the preseason talk around you guys. When it comes to the SEC, a lot of talk about these other programs, not so much about South Carolina right now. What's your reaction to that? And just what do you say to respond to all of that criticism?
Well, you know, I can't really say on the air exactly how I feel, as you might imagine, but you know, South Carolina is one of the premier college baseball programs in the country, and has been for a long time, going back to Bobby Richardson and June Raines and Ray Tanner. And but reality is, it's been a dozen years since South Carolina's baseball team's been to Omaha, and we need to gain that respect back. So, you know, the people that do the prognostications, they love college baseball like I do, but they're not out there on the field with me every day, and they don't see the players, and they don't know what the players are capable of doing. I don't really take it so much as a slap in the face to South Carolina, as much as there are really some outstanding teams in the Southeastern Conference, as you know, and somebody has to fall into each slot. So I told our players, hey, we're not worry about what other people say, and just believe in ourselves, but we also need to earn the respect. And there's only one way to earn the respect, and that's to win the games on the field, put yourself in a position to host regionals, to host super regionals, to get the team back to Omaha. When you do those kinds of things, then the respect comes. So I'm not really worried about it. It's really kind of in our hands. We're going to have ample opportunity to earn that respect.
There's a long season ahead. Again, it starts on Friday. And I also want to talk to you just about, you know, how much college athletics have changed in the past few years. Of course, all the talk about the NIL, the transfer portal. How have you adjusted to that, and what's it been like for you to come back into college athletics with all of that happening?
You know, everybody has asked that question, Matt, and it really hasn't been that different for me. When it comes to coaching on the field, kids are kids. They've been this way for 40 years of my coaching career. Everybody says, oh, kids have changed. You know, they're not as loyal because of the transfer portal. They feel entitled. I haven't found that to be the case at all. 40 years ago, I had issues with players that were entitled and not loyal necessarily. It's really a matter of, you know, you as a coach, as a manager of people, knowing how to handle the young people. I have my style. You know, my style is very demanding, quite frankly, but it's also with a lot of love and a lot of. I want our players to believe they can accomplish anything. You don't get anything by tearing players down. You know, you only get it by building them up and making them believe that they can accomplish great things. So the coaching on the field is no different than it's been my entire career. The difference is getting them here and keeping them here. Now, getting them here, in my opinion, was easier, because in the old days when you had 11.7 scholarships and you know, you love the player. Hey, Matt, I love you as a player. Here's the 25% scholarship.
Yeah.
Well, you mean I have to pay 75%? Yeah, but it's an investment, you know. Well, now, because of the NIL and now there's going to be rev sharing and there's going to be more scholarships, it comes out of your mouth a lot easier when you can tell a young man that we're going to take care of the cost of your education, and maybe you can make a little bit of money on top of that. I don't see a problem with doing that. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
For all my career, I was one of the loudest voices screaming about how crazy it was. We only had 11.7 scholarships for college baseball. So that's easier. Now, I have not gone through a cycle yet where I've lost players in the transfer portal that I didn't want to lose. So we'll see how it goes. I just believe that, you know, if you treat the players right and they're content where they are and they're happy about their development and the opportunity that they have, why would they need to leave?
Yeah, such great insight. I love getting into the minds of coaches and how you guys have to deal with that, because you guys have so many things you have to think about on a daily basis. I don't know how you guys do it, but
Matt,
but yeah.
we used to only have to worry about the pro draft.
Yeah.
You know, as baseball coaches, we could lose players coming out of high school. You know, you spend a couple years recruiting this young man, and then boom, on one given day, they get picked by a major league team, and boom, they're gone. And then not only coming out of high school, but you'd lose those players even before their eligibility expired.
Yeah.
You know, I laugh now about football coaches and basketball coaches, how they complain about it. We've had to do this forever in baseball. So, you know, you still have that, and then you're dealing with the transfer portal. So roster management has become, quite frankly, a very critical issue in how you can put together a team, who you can count on, and so forth. But you know, I'm looking forward to the challenge. You know, when I got out of coaching 3.5 years ago and everything changed, I sat on the sideline and watched this, and I kind of felt like, how can I watch college baseball, hopefully for the next 20 years of my life, not knowing what it's like to be in that kind of a world with the fluidity of the rosters and so forth. So I had to get back into it so that when I retire for the last time, I'll understand it a lot better.
Gosh, that was just awesome. I love getting into the mind of coaching and how you guys really adjust to everything in this day and age. And like you said, a lot of it is just the same. Even though we talk about it all the time, it is the same as it's always been in so many ways. Well, we're going to take a quick timeout here on Sports Zone. But when we come back, we're going to talk the weekend rotation and also talk about Sacred Heart, who's coming in here trying to play spoiler on opening weekend. So we got more with Paul Mainieri when Sports Zone returns. Welcome back to Sports Zone, everyone. Matt Dowell alongside South Carolina baseball head coach Paul Mainieri. Paul, opening day is just a few days away on Friday, opening weekend. Of course, so much of the conversation surrounds pitching. Who are you going to put out there? What can you tell us about the weekend rotation for this opening weekend, and how do you go about that decision making?
Well, basically, I put the guys out there that earn it, and the guys that have earned it happen to be older guys, which thrills me.
Yeah.
We're going to go game one with Dylan Eskew, who pitched in the rotation last year here at South Carolina. Dylan was very disappointed he didn't get drafted after last season. So when I reached out to him after the draft, I had no anticipation of him coming back. I was a little dubious about whether or not he would have the right attitude and want to put in another year, but he has been the model leader on our team with our pitching staff. He's worked so hard. I think he's really improved. And as far as a guy that's just going to go out there and give you everything he's got and throw the ball over the plate and mix his pitches a little bit, I think he's the perfect guy to pitch opening day. He'll have tremendous poise. Saturday on Ray Tanner Day, which is going to be a really hyped and intense day, we're going with another veteran, Matthew Becker. And Matthew pitched a lot out of the bullpen last year, I think, for the team. But you know, I just think, again, a veteran guy that I think can go out there and get us off to a good start, give us 4, 5, 6 innings, and give us a chance to win is going to be good. Sunday, the guy that's earned the spot has been Jake McCoy, another left-handed pitcher. And Jake last weekend pitched against our #1 lineup and really threw the ball great, so I have a great deal of confidence in him. But don't expect any of those starting pitchers to pitch too deep into the game, because it's game one of a 56-game schedule and probably 14 starts for each of them at least. So we don't want to do anything to put them in a bad position physically. So I would guess, 5 innings, maybe 75, 80 pitches at the most.
All right, and they're going to be pitching against a Sacred Heart team that's coming to Columbia. And like I said before going to break, they're trying to play spoiler on this opening weekend, but you guys are the big favorites in this one. When you look at Sacred Heart, what challenges do they bring to Founders Park this weekend?
Well, people around here are baseball fans, so they understand this, what I'm saying. This is not just coach speak. You can't worry in the sport of baseball what the name is on the front of their jersey.
Yeah.
In football and basketball, the superior athletes are generally going to win. But in baseball, you put that guy out there in the middle of the diamond, the pitcher, and he's the great equalizer. I will not take Sacred Heart lightly. They won their conference championship last year, regular season. They returned virtually their entire team. Their whole starting lineup will be back. I think they have at least 5 seniors in their starting lineup. 2/3 of their rotation is back, including a young man that's pitching Saturday that's got an SEC caliber arm. And their closer is back, who saved 9 games for him last year. And you're talking to a coach that lost a super regional one year to a school called Stony Brook. So believe me, it doesn't matter what the name is on the front of your jersey. That's a team from up north that can't wait to get their cleats on the ground, probably for the first time all year, because the snow is up to their waist right now. And they're an older team. They're not going to be intimidated. They're not going to be afraid. So we're going to have to play great baseball right out of the gate. And if we can eke out 3 wins this weekend, I'll be the happiest guy in the world, because it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, college baseball really is one of those sports where anything can truly happen on any given day, and you do got to be ready to go for the first pitch until the very last. Well, Paul, those are all my questions for you tonight, but I always like to end when my guests come in studio of just giving you guys the floor. Is there anything else you'd like to add about this year's team? I'll give you the mic. Go ahead.
Oh, wonderful. Well, of course, I've already expressed just how excited I am, how proud I am to be the baseball coach at the University of South Carolina in this very rich tradition baseball program. I want to compliment not only Bobby Richardson and June Raines and Ray Tanner, who I mentioned, but Chad Holbrook and Mark Kingston. Even though things didn't work out for them in the end, they both did a terrific job here. Specifically Mark and the players that he left here, I want him to get due credit for that. But I just want everybody out there to know that I am just so proud to be the coach here. When I brought our LSU team here 4 or 5 times, I don't remember seeing an empty seat in the stands at Founders Park. So please come out and support your Gamecocks. They're a wonderful group of kids. The fans being there and being engaged in the game creates such a wonderful atmosphere. And I know that our players will be inspired and will want to achieve great things for this team. I can't promise you right now that we're going to go to Omaha. We're going to take it one game at a time, but just don't be surprised if this team far exceeds the expectations that are out there for us.
So much excitement surrounding this new era. Like you said, this is baseball country here in Columbia. Gamecock fans love this baseball team. Paul, we're so looking forward to opening day on Friday. We will be there for it all. We're going to have extensive coverage of Friday's opener and, of course, going into the weekend. Thank you so much for coming on our show tonight. It was so nice to meet you. This was such a great conversation. I wish we could talk for, another hour, but we're running out of time. But thank you so much for coming on our show.
It's my pleasure, Matt. It's great to be with you.
All right, well, from one coach to another, when we come back here on Sports Zone, Don Staley and the South Carolina women's basketball team gearing up for Florida tomorrow at Colonial Life Arena. We talked to Coach Staley today, and we'll preview that matchup against the Gators coming up next here on Sports Zone.